I had prior experience with DNP and spent a long time researching it. I wasn't jumping in blind. I had read the forums, the warnings, the horror stories, and the science. I had already run multiple cycles before this incident using a diluted source, and I approached each one cautiously. I ramped doses slowly, took breaks, stayed hydrated, used the commonly recommended supplements, and paid close attention to how my body responded. Those cycles were miserable at times, constant heat, sweating, fatigue, but they followed a predictable pattern. I always felt awful, but never unsafe, never out of control. Nothing that felt remotely life-threatening. Eventually, though, I became concerned about the unknowns in the diluted source. Not knowing what the filler was bothered me more than the DNP itself, so I made what I thought was the responsible decision. I switched to a confirmed pure source, assuming that knowing exactly what I was taking would actually be safer. I tested it. I verified the dosing carefully. I pressed accurate 100 milligram pills and resisted the urge to rush or push higher. This time, I followed the advice everyone repeats over and over again. Start low and see how you react. That's where things went sideways. I started at 200 milligrams per day, split into 2 doses. After just the first 100 milligrams, I noticed something that immediately stood out. The warmth came on much earlier than expected. I was sweating sooner than I ever had before on similar amounts. Still, I brushed it off. I told myself I was overthinking it. The next day, after another small dose and a normal meal, everything escalated rapidly. While doing light activity around the house, nothing strenuous, I suddenly felt an intense wave of heat that didn't feel normal. My heart rate began climbing fast. My hands started going numb and cramping. My thoughts became scattered and foggy, like I couldn't fully focus on what was happening. I tried the usual fixes. Cold showers barely helped. Standing in front of the AC barely helped. My heart was pounding harder than I'd ever felt before. When I checked my pulse, it was 165 beats per minute, higher than anything I'd experienced in the past. That was the moment it became clear this wasn't something I could just ride out. Then it hit me what I'd done wrong. Because the dose was low, I had assumed I didn't need to prepare the way I normally would. I had no fast electrolytes on hand, no sports drinks, nothing that could be absorbed quickly. Panic started creeping in, and that only made everything worse. I focused on staying conscious. I cooled myself aggressively. I slowed my breathing. Eventually, I managed to get electrolyte drinks and started rehydrating properly. Once I did, things slowly began to stabilize. My heart rate came down, my temperature dropped, the fog lifted, the episode passed, but the realization stayed. Something that should have been manageable had spiraled completely out of control. And it happened fast.